era is saying that the era is saying
Okay,
these
I think
fields
I'm
facing.
live now. Yep, this is Justin, AI for the Masses. I am working on a devlog for my indie game, Story of Someone. Still very much in the beginning stages of it. As you can see, I'm watching a stream from another fellow vibe coder, as anything. Check him out if you like seeing some of the more like practical applications of vibe coding. And when I mean practical, like he's working on a like a chat interface for his business. So his is more for expanding his own professional world, and I'm more on the entertainment side, right? So I was just watching his stream. He's very pleasant to listen to, and you can learn a lot about coding, and especially the applications of vibe coding. His workflow is a little different than mine, and I like to watch a stream to see different approaches to the various ways of vibe coding. So giving him a quick shout out. You can see how I've been chatting with him and things. So I'm going to sign off from his stream and let's get started with mine. So what I have been working on is actually it was running. Let me start it up. On the last two streams, I was trying to make my fight arena, and after one complete train wreck version of trying to get that to work, I now have a version that is what I consider to be like a bare bones proof of concept version of a fight arena. Now, of course, there's very little graphics, and they don't actually attack each other yet. Like no hit points are taken away, which is one of the main goals of what I'd like to do today. However, some of the things I did succeed with, and this is kind of small. I wonder if I can. I realize what's going on here with the slime. I wonder if I can. Can I grab this thing? No. That was interesting that it actually zipped around. Wait a second. Oh, interesting. I think there's like a little bit of momentum transfer just from moving the window. Well, that's an interesting. Yeah, look at that. Wow, that I did not. What? Okay, did not expect that at all. That was a fun real time discovery on my part. I'm not too concerned with that. As far as it being a bug or something, the slime. I'll just continue with the tutorial here. I think I got a little distracted. I should be able to. Oh, I am in the middle of an attack. Okay, this is another bug. So I can change to the different creatures, the different creature types that I have. So now, if the player does a move, so I just press the M button to do the move. And remember, this is just so that way I can play around with battle, like concepts and ideas, and kind of try to make the combat as balanced as I can manage. And so I was able to move the character. Now if I press, the character's speed is higher than the slime. And so if I press move again, I can move forward. So I'm able to move as frequently as I am because I made it where moving only uses up 20% of the speed meter. However, that is a pretty excessive what is it? A pretty excessive difference in speed. So I can let's do an attack. Not that it does anything. I'm going to lower the speed to just 2 points higher than the slime. So let's see if moving the slime does anything. Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm using some of the aspects of the slime's characteristics, but it does seem that not everything about the slime transferred over. That would be another thing that I would like to do today. So in this stream, I at least have two primary goals that I'm going to try and tackle. And those goals are going to be having the attack actually take away hit points in some way, and then have the movement of the creature work. And I think the movement of the creature is already going to be a challenging task. So I think I'm going to start with the attack. And I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to let's grab the code. I'm just going to grab the code I'm going to grab all of the code for the whole code base because I want to interrogate the program or interrogate the AI about my code on how much of the creature's physics is actually being brought into the battle arena, and can I use its movement logic in the battle arena to move the character around. So let's do... I got to close out. Let's go back to the root directory of the whole game. Let's do my consolidate script. And let's get a whole new version of the code base recorded. Okay, let's bring it over to Gemini. Let's give it my coding best practices. And then let's turn that temperature down to 0. All right. And it didn't bring over the consolidated files. What is going out there? Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? Maybe I've just... It says timeout. Maybe I've just been on this screen way too long. It's been sitting here like all afternoon. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, there we go. All right, so starting over. Okay, so I'm going to start with just getting things processed and asking it for a simple task. I would like the fight arena to allow the player and the creature attacks to remove HP from the opponent. Let's start simple and have the attack be the number of HP that is removed directly. Keep it simple. So nothing fancy. And I'll worry about maybe creating some sort of a dice roll to the amount of hit points. Like maybe if they have an attack of 15, there's a 50% chance it'll be 15 and a 30% chance it'll be 20% lower and a 10% chance it'll be half as much. Some sort of a scaling in that sense. I can think of all kinds of other role-playing games that I could get inspiration from. I always thought that one of my favorite tactics-based role-playing games is Final Fantasy Tactics, and like the original PlayStation 1 version. And the one thing though that was always so frustrating that me and my roommate back at that time would joke about is like it would have a percentage success. So it was like you would hit for that much or you would miss, and there was like this percentage of hitting or missing, and it would be like 85% chance, and then I would just miss, and it felt like it happened so much more often than the percentage would suggest. And so like I would almost just be like, if it's not more than 90%, I'm just not gonna do it. And our joke was like 80% success, 0% or 100% fail is what we say every single time. Like, oh, it's 85% chance, 100% fail. It really felt like it wasn't actually 85. And boy, missing your entire attack 15% of the time, that can be like game-changing level impact. So I've never been a fan of that particular methodology. I am more of a fan of games where there is a percentage of your full attack that you might actually land. So I think I'm going to lean towards that just out of my own personal bias. Now, I have been having this weird issue of seeing these errors that don't register when I compile. We're going to see what happens here and if I can solve these. I don't understand why. You'll see what you might see what I'm talking about here in a second. I'm very confident that this will compile and not show error codes in the terminal. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm actually glad that I'm getting the error codes so I can actually do something about this. All right, let's go ahead and throw these in here. I got these errors because it was compiling and I don't know. You just saw it run. And those errors were already in the previous version of the code that was pasted in. So that was really confusing to me. So let's actually clear these up. And I think that this might be related to why the slime doesn't quite behave the way that I expect it to. I'm seeing references to like eye creature and slime tentacle creature. And I think that is code that is outside of this subdirectory. This might be answering my question that I wanted to ask. It appears we have a project configuration issue. The main project story someone is trying to compile files from the Fight Arena Sandbox project directly, which is a cause. Oh, wait a second. I am totally approaching a error issue that is possibly later in what I wanted to work on. I forgot that I was compiling in my root directory just now. We can see how big of a update this is. Okay, so let's go ahead and update the main project file. It seems like an easy enough update. Oh, and then there you go. Cleared all the errors. Okay, it was something small. That's why it wasn't causing a problem in the subdirectory, the Fight Arena Sandbox, because it was pretty much all related to the main project file that's in the root directory. Okay, no big deal. Let's go into the actual Fight Arena Sandbox. And let's compile that. And let's see if doing an attack, just in general. So I don't care about proximity right now. I just want to do an attack and see it actually take away hit points. Perfect. I went from 68 to 80. I wonder if I should make this bigger for all of you to see. One thing I wonder if I can do is in the studio, can I access specifically this window? That might be tricky. Let me try one thing. Just bear with me for 1 second. So, yeah, I didn't think so. Or at least the way that I want to try and do this. Let me try one more time. Okay, let me try this. I'm kind of new to the OBS studio. Okay, here we go. I wonder if I can hang on to this. The game window, even though it's popping in and out of existence, I wonder if I can still... Okay, there's a possibility that this stays. All right, so when this pops up, let's see if it will stay. And then when I take it away, can I get it back? So, okay. Let's quit. And now, oh, wonderful. Okay, I just leveled up on my streaming skills. Perfect. All right. Now you should be able to see the game better, and that's the fun part. So I don't want to steal away from being able to see the exciting aspects of what I'm working on. So let me make this a little bit bigger. And then there we go. All right. Okay, so continuing on, let's do a move, and then I can go diagonal, and then I'll do an attack, and oh, it did not take away hit points. Okay, now the slime attacks, it did take away hit points. Oh, there it goes. I wonder why. Am I delusional? Did I miss that? Okay, it's still doing the attack. Okay, good. And then the slime's attack works. All right, now the other thing I want to do is there should be the ability to defend. I have to decide. I haven't decided yet, so I'm kind of thinking out loud. I have to decide how long the defend lasts. In most games that use a speed bar like this, like Final Fantasy VII, I remember it being that it would be until the character's next turn. I think that is going to make the most sense, but in my version of the game, I want the defense to not use up the entire, I guess we could call it the stamina bar. And I think I'm going to have it only use like half. And so that means it would become your turn more quickly. And I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. Now, another thing I could add is, let's say you go into defend and it only uses up half your stamina bar. Well, then what if you never have to use the defend status that you're in? Then you'll just get to take another turn. But let's say that you do actually defend against an attack. I think that it should bring down the amount of damage that you take and resets your stamina bar to 0 again, or at least removes up to half of the stamina bar again. So you gamble half your stamina bar and up front, and then if you actually have to use the defense, you lose the other half. That feels tactical to me, and I think I'm going to lean on that. So let me put that concept into the code's architecture, so that way I can tweak that. I also want to have the attack be tweakable in the config. So let's make it where I can adjust the logic of the attack in the config file. An example would be that there could be a tiered probability of how much of the attack points will successfully land. Or let's not be so cryptic. Successfully remove HP from the opponent. And I'm thinking also that I will add a luck stat to the game, and one of the things that luck will improve is the percentages of the amount of attack that gets landed, maybe like the percentage of gold that's found in like a treasure chest, or the amount of gold that's dropped by creatures. I've always liked having luck in a game, and I like it when when having like 100% luck is incredibly impactful. Like you could almost be, I think it's like the Deadpool 2 where one character's superpower is just being super lucky. So I like the idea that you could technically build a character that if you just boost their luck, that even though they're weak and even though they're slow and even though they don't have great armor and stuff like that, they just land every attack. They defend every single attack that's against them. They just get mad amounts of gold and things like that. Like it might like double or triple the amount of gold and loot that they end up getting. It'll be a little bit tricky to balance that. And I also don't want to make it too obvious that luck is so strong. But if it is super strong, I want it to be very hard to get it. So like items will only have so much luck and so I think I would like cap that even if you got the best tier luck items, your luck would still only get to like 50. And then you like leveling up your character would be the only way that you could get like the other 50 luck points, and you'd have to go like all in on it. Okay, so I think that would be fun. Let me not get too distracted here. Scope creep. It's almost a curse word in indie game development. So what was I saying here? An example would be that there would be a tiered probability of how much of the attack points will successfully remove HP from the opponent. You probably can't see what I'm even typing here because I think the window is still up. So that'd be the downside, the trade-off of having that big game window in the middle of the screen. But I think it'll be all right. I think it's higher pro than con. I may have to adjust where it's positioned. I'll do that next time it pops up. And so let's see. You'll successfully remove HP from the opponent. I wonder if I should just go ahead and add it in, and then I can make the probabilities 0. No, yeah, let's just go ahead and add this in. A possible version could be 80% chance of full attack. Let's go 70%. 70% chance of full attack. 20% chance of 75% attack, and 10% chance of 50% attack. Or go even heavier, go 15 and then like 5% chance of a miss. Oh, that's rough. I don't really like full-on misses. But let me just throw it in there. Maybe I'll make it like 1%, or there could be weapons that add miss percentage. Again, scope creep. Try not to make this too complicated. Let me just throw it in there, play around with it, see what happens. Okay. I would also, you know what? Let's just do that. I want the config file to be updated, and then I can piggyback off of that concept with the defend move and add in how that works. So the idea would be, while that's cooking, that you would be able to like do your defense, and if you're pretty confident that, or if you can tell that this bar would make it to attack before your defend would fill up again, then it would be a good use of defense. Otherwise, maybe you might as well attack, or maybe you want to move and then defend. So like, let's say so if I defend right now, watch what happens. So we get half, but I'm back to a move again. And if I defend again, okay, now I get to to defend against the attack if it happens. So if I attack, then I would have defended against that attack. But you kind of wasted one turn. And there are games that have been, those are perfectly legitimate strategies. But I'm not too excited about that. I would like there to be an incentive to do something while you're waiting for the window where you should defend, like maybe use an item or reposition your player to a future position that will be beneficial for your attack. Things like that. So, all right. So I want to do sandbox config, and that was a very, very small file. And let's see what it looks like. So what did it do? It did, okay, no. It hasn't changed anything. It's the JSON. So in the config files, I have sandboxconfig.json. Hey, has anything? Yeah, hey, the combat is going. So here, let me do my updates, and you'll get to see in just a second. I'm adding in some nuance to the attack sequence, where there is a probability of landing different ranges of your attack points onto the enemy. Okay, so let's see if that didn't break anything. Usually it doesn't. So I had well, here, I'll demonstrate for you first. So positioning is kind of broken right now, so don't pay any attention to where the slime is relative to the player. And I have my loading bars for their sequences. So they have 3 different options. They can attack, defend, and move. And right now I'm working on the attack, and next time I'm going to work on the defend. But so the blue square is my player, and the green circle is supposed to be the slime. But it's a physics-based creature, and it's not behaving properly in this arena. And I'm not really too concerned about that right now. I just want to start laying the architecture for the game logic. And so if I press A, because it's the player's turn right now, and I have an attack of 12, then you'll be able to see that 12 points should get removed from the creature's hit points. And there it goes. Now he's, well, right. So it only removed 6. Why? Because there is a percentage chance that you will only get a 50% of your attack. So that seems to be working. All right, so we have an attack of 15 from the creature, and looks like that was 7. Okay, so that must have also been a 50%. You know, it's only supposed to be like a 15% chance. No, like a 10% chance of only getting a half. This is like what I was talking about in the beginning of this, very beginning of the stream. My favorite role-playing game, tactics role-playing game, is Final Fantasy Tactics, and there would be a percentage that you would actually hit. And so like 85% chance of hitting meant a 15% chance of missing the entire attack. And I never liked that I would just miss the whole thing. It was all or nothing. So I like tiered attacks. And let's see, I bet you it's in the sandbox config. I know that I have my screen set up where you can't really see what I'm doing. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, so yeah, I have a 70% chance of a 1 times multiplier, 15% chance of a 75 multiplier, and a 10% chance of 50, and I got 50 twice. Anyway, all right, let's keep testing here. So if the player... Now here's some other features. Excuse me. So first, let me do the attack. Ooh, seriously, did I miss? It even says in the terminal. Player attacks creature and misses. Boy, I'm having bad luck in my first round of actually testing this out. All right, there we go. A full 15 attack. All right, and now I'm going to attack again, and I got a full 12 attack. Okay, good. Now, I'll demonstrate that there is a defend and a move. So I'm going to do a move first. So if I press M and then pick a direction, I'm going to go bottom left or down left. We changed position. And it also didn't use up the entire stamina bar. So if you watch the player's bar, it only uses up 25% of the stamina. So you can run around the map, but you're not attacking while you're doing it. And then if I defend, it'll only use half the bar. And my idea, which I'm about to add in the next prompt, is that if the creature attacks, so like the creature now is in an attack phase, or is in a turn phase, and the creature could attack, and I happened to press defend. So my idea is that if you defend and the creature attacks during your defend, then you will defend the number of points from their attack that is the same as the number of points of your defense. And I might add a little bit of a phase, a tiered multiplier for your defense as well. But it has to be, you're only in defense mode until that bar fills up for you again. And the bar only went down by half. So you have to time things. Okay, so let me go ahead and add that feature in. Let me get rid of the game. Okay, this looks good. I want to add a similar feature for the defend. I don't want to say defend move because there's a move. The defend status, I guess. There should be a tiered what is it, like a probability tier, I think would be a better way. Probability tier for the defend status. When I don't want to say like the creature and the player, like when the combatant, and let me define this term so I can use it confidently in the future, which is either the player or the creature selects defend, they will be in that status, in, let me be more specific, in the defend status until their, I don't even know what we call, oh, I guess it's the action meter. I see it in the code there. So the code calls that bar the action meter until their action meter fills up again. The defend will subtract from the amount of attack points that successfully landed let's see, I think it's going to get what I'm saying. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. There should be a probability tier. I think it gets the point. Let's show some sort of visual that indicates that the combatant is in defend mode. What should it be? I'm trying to keep this really, really simple. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I don't care about style too much or the art or anything. Just some sort of simple message. Let me see what the game looks like again. I barely even know my own fight arena. could just be a message under the action meter. Like defending. Oh, actually, how about in parentheses next to the creature or player? Put a defending. Can't spell today. Defending message in parentheses next to the name of the combatant. Example. Creature parentheses defending. Okay, let's cook that. All right, so let me move the game screen off a little bit so that way if I forget to turn off the game, you can kind of see what I'm typing. That should be about right. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing if I do that. Okay. All right. So hopefully the defend will then have an effect. It'll be interesting to see how it interprets the tiered, because I wasn't specific about the probability tiering, but I just want it to create that feature in the JSON, and then I can tweak it as I want. So why are we doing battle entity? Attract defending sake. Oh, cool. All right. Battle entity. Hey, so as anything, we were talking in your stream about AI and whether or not I expressed it as like if it has plateaued, and you were expressing it in a slightly different terminology. So I'm not 100% confident we were exactly on the same page as far as what we were trying to discuss, but it was still, like you were saying, very, very interesting conversation to have. And one thing that I have noticed that is, like, we haven't really seen a lot of really groundbreaking AI news lately, at least not compared to what like the last entire year was like. And it is, I think that if that is influencing our opinions or our perception of what the state of AI in the future is bringing to us, I fear that we might be somewhat, I want to say like biased is not the right word. It's we've become so used to such fast progress all of a sudden out of nowhere over the last year to 2 years that when we're not having our minds blown like every other week, all of a sudden we're like, oh, it must be over. And like seeing amazing progress happen so frequently like that is like not supposed to be normal, in my opinion. So I think that is something that maybe has to be taken somewhat into account when having these conversations is how much of this is our perception of future progress being influenced by what we have experienced in the recent past versus the further back in the past, where AI took decades to get to the point that it was at just a couple years ago, and then all of a sudden it just became mainstream. So that's kind of the thing that was kind of in my head a little bit when I was in your chat on your stream, which, by the way, if you guys want to see someone else's approach to vibe coding for something that's a bit more practical than me making a game, check out As Anything's live streams. He's making a chat interface for his software development business. So you can learn a completely different approach to the same vibe of, well, no pun intended, the vibe of coding, vibe coding. So Yeah. I think that there is this possibility that both of us are influenced in our own personal ways by the strange phenomenon of watching a technology grow faster than any other technology has in human history. So I try to not let that skew my perspective and judgment too much. But I try to take it into account that it is a thing that's happening, that it's moving so fast. So I'm like you in that I tend to be more of an AI optimist, and I try not to let that get a little out of control. As anything, I agree. The progress is slow, then fast, then slow. I think that's because it's an exponential growth and decay pattern. Yep. I think there was a short period of time of extreme growth that is now over. And thanks for the shout. Yeah, no problem, man. I don't think we're in a plateau in the sense of nothing of significance is going to happen for like the rest of the calendar year or something like that, which still, in my opinion, is just like, it's unbelievable that I would even think that a 6-month period is like a long time for a technology. So I fear we're getting spoiled, and that there are going to be big advancements coming, and these little lulls of like 2-3 months are just them cooking in the background, and then we're gonna get something, but we're just not seeing the incremental change because I think the competition has gotten so hot that that now the companies might be, and they're putting in so much money, like they're actually committing so much money and resources that they're holding their cards closer to their chest for a little bit longer now. I'm an optimist regarding the potential utility of the current power of AI. Oh yeah, before I even finish that, so am I. Like, even if it stops now, it's already like industry changing level tool. Okay, and then you say, I think it's very underutilized. Again, I agree. Once scientists have time to work with it, then we will see progress in other fields. Again, I agree. And at the same time, I am very skeptical to believe that we have plateaued in any significant way. Yeah. But that's me, and that's all speculation. That's by no means do I want as anything or anyone who happens to watch the stream to think that I am saying that anybody is wrong by not agreeing with me. I am purely speculating. It's just my opinion, and it has a big fingers crossed caveat attached to it, because I'm not involved in the advancement of this technology in any direct way. I'm just guessing, and it's heavy bias. I'm hoping we're not plateaued. Yep. We're all speculating. So it has anything said. So let's see. Oh, okay. Things are in my game now. Things are going to get complicated because now I have 2 things that are creating variation in the attack and the defend now, and they're interacting with each other. So I'm going to see what the AI has created for my terminal, because I want to know if I attacked for a certain amount, and then I want to know if the defend subtracted a certain amount. I don't want to just see 2 hit points are taken away. Well, I don't know if I don't know how much the attack was supposed to be, and I don't know how much the defend actually removed. I won't be able to troubleshoot well, and it'll be hard to balance the fighting. So let's see what kind of messaging I get down in the terminal. Let me see. Can you guys see my terminal output? Not at all. Okay. So I may have to make a whole new scene here. Give me 1 second. So I have this one. How you guys doing? And then I have this one. So I want to make a new scene. Let me copy. Let me duplicate. So just let me do a little maintenance here. Okay, so if I do this and then move that over, and also, so I want you to be able to see my terminal both. There we go. So now, while I'm doing some troubleshooting, so we have this version, and we'll have that version. I'll try to remember to swap between them. I have another. Okay, that should do it. Yes. Okay. All right. That should be a little bit easier for you guys to see. All right. So let's try doing an attack. So I'm gonna have the blue square, who's the player, attack, and the creature's hit points went down by 12. Okay. So I'm going to get to defend. I'm gonna defend on the creature. Let's see if I get defend. Okay, I didn't get a defend message. So now I've got to see, does the attack from the player. Okay, so that was a 9. And the message is down here. The player attacks creature and lands a glancing blow for 9 damage. So I don't think the defend actually did anything, but I don't know. So let's go over here to Gemini. So change you guys back. And I would like to know more about the status of the defends and attacks. So what do we want? I want to know what percentage tier the attack and the defend. How do I say this? Resulted in. I also want to know how many points the attack triggered and how many points of the attack the defend subtracted separately. Yeah. Okay. Let's try. Oh. All of this should be in the terminal. All right. I'm going to ignore the fact that we didn't see the defend status on the screen and just kind of, I made it to the, I'm going to see occasionally, every once in a while, when I kind of reiterate the, a point that I'm trying to make, like with maybe like a debugging, the feature kind of fixes itself. Like the AI remembers, like, oh, and I was supposed to put like the little defend thing message in there. Let me do that, but it's fine. We'll see what happens. What did you say here? As anything, the YouTube video that describes the paper I'm referring to is called "Has Generative AI Already Peaked?" Oh, Computer File. Oh, that's a great channel, and I haven't watched that video, so I am gonna take a note down on that, and I am gonna watch that specific episode. Has generative AI already peaked? Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. I don't think I watched it, but I think I have in my memory, I have a little bit of like, yeah, that was a video that I never clicked on. And the paper is called No Zero Shot Without Exponential Data. As anything, how do you define, what is your understanding of the definition of zero shot? Because I misunderstood what I currently think zero shot is supposed to mean. So I'm curious how you perceive the definition of zero shot in this whole generative AI landscape. of course, I will add more detail. So now I'm back with Gemini here. Of course, I'll add more detailed logging to the console to provide insight into the combat calculations. This change only affects the perform action method in sandbox set game. Okay, big file. I'm getting to the point where I think I'm going to have to refactor sandbox that game or sandbox game soon. All right, let's see what kind of a change it did. Okay, I'm going to defend the player. Just see if I get a defend. Okay, got the defending status on the player. So now I'm going to attack and see what the message says. So attack roll 100% success. Initial damage 12. Creature's not defending. Nice. This is good info here. Final damage dealt 12. Okay, cool. All right, and then I'm going to defend the creature because I just want to see if the defend status... Okay, the defend status message did happen that time, just like I was saying. All right, so it's now the creature's defending. Let's attack with the player again. So 75% success, initial damage 9. Creature's defending, defense roll 50% block, damage reduction 6. So now final damage dealt 3. Ah, but creature's hit points... Wait, did I already hit... Oh, yeah. Then it went from 68 to 65. It's working. It is working. All right, what do you got here? From Claude. From Claude? I meant your understanding. Zero shot. An LLM's ability to perform a task without having seen any specific training examples for that task during its training phase. Yeah, the way I tended to see definitions that were clarifications of my misunderstanding of the term was that it's like I ask it to write me a paper on a particular topic. My understanding is Claude's understanding. Yeah. Like if I ask it to write a paper on a topic or I ask it to write code for a particular task, that I don't give it like any guidance. I don't give it an example of any kind. I just take whatever it outputs from its own neural network understanding of how to perform that task. But then one thing that's awesome about large language models is that you can give it an example, you can give it a style example, and things like that, and you can end up influencing its output and guiding it. And so it's interesting because, like, I guess technically probably like 80-90% of the coding for this game that I've been doing is technically zero shot. Because I'm like, just add this, just add that, based on your understanding of what I've described. Make this effect. I don't know. It's like this zero shot thing is kind of muddy to me. It's kind of a little bit ambiguous, a little bit open to interpretation. But okay. I mean, I made a huge step here. It might seem trivial, but in my head, in my confused, how am I gonna do this next thing? Oh, you guys couldn't see what I saw. Let me show you the terminal output. So I know it's kind of small on the screen here, but it actually has that it displayed a 100% attack success. So the initial damage is 12. The creature is not defending, so the 12 out of 12 was applied, and I got 68 out of 80 hit points. And then the player performed another attack while the creature was defending. Not only was the attack only a 75% attack, but the creature defended a 50% block, and it reduced the damage by 6 because the slime's defense is 12. And so then that means that the final damage dealt was 3. I love that. And the reason why that's a big deal for me personally is because I'm basically offloading all of these ideas into the code, and it's actually working. And now it's set up in a way where I can go in here and I can change the tiers. And it's just mind-blowing that I didn't actually have to type any of this stuff out. Now, some people might say, it's like, well, then did you really do it? No, I guess I didn't. I'm not even going to fight against that. No, I guess I didn't. But it was my idea. So who cares? I mean, I just don't personally. I'm just not personally affected in any emotional way about that. Well, I am affected emotionally. I love it. I love it that I don't have to worry about this low level stuff. As long as I am managing the problem, then in a way that I can keep track of and I can get the output I'm looking for, that's what makes me happy. And 3 streams ago, which was yesterday, I tried to do this window, the one that I'm waving around behind. I tried to do this window basically all in one prompt. And it was a train wreck. Oh, yeah, that's right. My Slime's physics engine interprets me moving the window around as momentum, which I think is absolutely a very interesting and entertaining bug. So I can basically shake it around the window and then the slime reacts. I think that's neat. Oops, didn't mean to do that. All right. Well, I think there it goes. So I'll be fixing that bug later. It may be the next thing that I try to get working. So yeah, I tried to do all of this, the arena, the attack, the defend, the move, the player positions, all that kind of stuff, all in one prompt. And it was a disaster. So I spent about 2 hours on a stream almost getting to work, but very much vandalizing my code in the process. Like it was pretty bad. And I was getting really scared as to how much of my code was refactored in ways that were like I wasn't able to keep track of what was going on. So a part of me was actually kind of glad it didn't work in the end, and so I reverted back to my previous commit. And the funny thing is, and I could even go into my Gemini history here. Let's see if I can find it. I think it was this one. I used the exact same prompt as the one where I tried to do this whole arena in one go, except I added this right here at the bottom, and you can't see what I'm highlighting right there. I added these 2 extra sentences. So all of this was a description of everything I wanted in my fight arena. I won't go into the details because you're looking at it in the middle of the screen right now. You're looking at the result of that description. But what I did was I didn't include this sentence at the bottom in the first round and said go, and I was like, just make it. And it was a complete disaster. And then I added this one sentence. The sentence is, this is just a plan. Well, 2 sentences. This is just a plan. Can we come up with a step-by-step process to slowly update the code base and integrate this idea piece by piece into the existing code base? And let me show you what the difference of the result was. We came up together, me and the AI, a plan. And so a 6-phase plan. And like the first one was just to create the window with an 8x8 grid with a 6x6 grid in the middle that are tiles you can actually move around. And it's like, let's just get that architecture laid. And then it said phase 2 is placing the characters. And then phase 3 was to create the time battle, the action meter. And then phase 4 is actually making the turns, the attack, defense, and move turns. But you couldn't actually even do them. You just had the logic in place, like the stub functions in place. So that way we could add the creature swapping and the polish and other things. We can actually add the motion, add the movement, add the defense. And so exact same detailed prompt with 2 extra sentences at the bottom to plan first. And then what happens? It did the first stage of plan. And I had a little bit of an error and then fixed it. And then it's like, okay. Oh, wait, this is the fix. Well, wow, did I have problems a little more often than I thought? Okay. Yep, and okay, I'm still doing phase 1 because I'm adding the gray lines. And then we go, okay, with the new plan in mind, what is the next phase? Because I gave it a little bit of a pivot that I didn't want to pull the assets of the creatures into this this arena, even though it successfully brought the slime in, and I wasn't expecting that. And then we did phase 2. So next step is phase 2, entities and placement. And then I think it ended up, okay, that worked. Let's move to the next phase. And said, excellent, we have completed phase 1. Oh, yeah, and for some reason it repeated itself. It did the exact same phase 2 again. I don't know why it kind of forgot that we'd already done phase 2. So I said, hey, phase 2 worked. Let's move on to phase 3 if that's okay. I said, excellent, phase 2 is complete. Now let's do phase 3. And so on. I think you get the point. So that one little extra addition made all the difference. I did not change anything else in the prompt from the train wreck version to the new version. Just added that extra little, hey, let's plan this thing out. So a lesson learned that I think anybody watching this stream could benefit from. So what did you say as anything? Again, from Claude, 0 shot equals no examples in prompt. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. That's how I understood it. But models only work because they saw similar patterns in the training data. True 0 shot doesn't really exist. Ah, okay, yeah. I also kind of agree with true 0 shot doesn't really exist because like the examples are in the data, right? And you could technically say that the things I've been doing with vibe coding for this game are muddy in whether or not they're 0 shot, because I didn't give them examples of games and things like that. I didn't give Gemini examples of screenshots or anything. I just described what I wanted, and it figured out a way to produce the output. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. I want to ask Gemini. I got to go back to my old chat that we were using. Okay, I want to ask Gemini how much of the code for my little circle slime is actually being like referenced in this battle arena, because my slime is not behaving the way that I would normally want it to, but it's mostly behaving the way I want it to. So this is one of these examples where people say, well, what's going to happen when you don't understand your own code? Well, here's what I do. I ask the AI to help me understand my code as needed. So how are we referencing the code that produces the slime creature? The physics behavior is like almost all there, but my creature sandbox has 2 modes. So I can demonstrate this for you. I have 2 modes for the creature sandbox where I can click the mouse and drag my slime around, or this like gravity is applied to each tile, and I can move the creature around onto different tiles by pressing the numpad buttons and the keys on the numpad. And so it's like, am I able to do that mode? In fact, let me try, because when I press G, it goes in a different mode. Yeah, G is not doing anything. So let's see. So my creature, okay, physics behavior is almost there, but my creature sandbox has 2 modes, and I don't see the platform effect for the slime to sit on. Like ultimately, I want to be able to move the slime like I did in the creature sandbox. Now, I don't want it to start like generating code. Like, can we discuss how we could go about utilizing the existing let's say it's called logic for moving the slime around the grid during the move phase of the turn in the fight sandbox. I want to be very, very clear. Fight arena sandbox. Okay. So let me fix this one little typo here. And let's let that cook. And if anybody has any questions about what's going on, let me know in the chat. But while that's doing that, let me show you the old way the slime moves around, and that should kind of help clarify what I'm trying to get to have happen here. So, creature sandbox, and then let me run this code. Let's see if it still works. I haven't ran it in a long time. I haven't touched any files in this subdirectory, so it should still be functioning. I have messed with some project files though, so we will see. Okay, looking good. Okay, you guys can see it on the screen. Okay, so my slime, he's acting a little weird, but if I press G, then, oh wait, hold on. I gotta let what's going on in the command prompt finish its deal. Okay, so there is a platform. Now, my slime shouldn't be quite this big. That's not my default. But I can roll the slime along, and if I turn on a render mode, it'll make a pixelized 8 frame per second version of the slime. So it's not supposed to be all like saggy like this. And I know exactly what I need to do. We'll see if I can put my money where my mouth is. In the config file, I can go to the slime. I made him really big, and usually I have him at about a radius of 20. So let's see if just changing that, I might have to change his mass or something else. It's been a while since I messed with this file. So let's run it again. And okay, now he's nice and small, and this will make a little bit more sense. So he can roll around the map, he can hop down, hop up, and try not to think of it as up and down. This is like south. So I was using physics and gravity to create this illusion that the slime is jumping forward and jumping backwards, not up and down, but then rolls sideways. And probably I should have it jump in every single direction, but the way that the physics worked and the gravity worked, it was kind of fun having it where it could just kind of roll along the floor, and then it could stick to the wall and things like that. So I can roll him around. I'm just pressing the num keys, but it's all physics based. So I don't have to have any pre-made animations. All I have to do is just change how the pixels render based on where the circle is relative to the pixels. And I can change the pixel height or the pixel sizes and things like that. So I actually think my pixels are a little too small. Where's my pixel size? I think I can do it on this config file. If not, then there's a render config file that I had created that I'm forgetting about. Yeah. And then I can also change creatures. So I have a tentacle creature. If I turn the rendering off, there's my tentacle creature. And I can pull him around. And this is, again, all physics based. Like all the little points and joints have a mass to it. And I'm just imparting a force. So there's a weight. I can kind of feel the weight of this tentacle. And then I can turn on the pixel, the rendering. And now the tentacle has a pixel. I wouldn't call it pixel art because it's all one color. I do plan on creating some shading and things like that later, but it at least it looks pixely, right? And then I have a third version where it's a slime that has a tentacle. So you can see there's the tentacle and the slime. They're just connected. And so now I can turn that on, and let me get him off of the oh, hold on. Let me turn off the rendering. Oh, there we go. Okay, so bring them up there. Okay, and then I can add tentacles. So now I have a 2 tentacle slime, a 3 tentacle slime, a 4 tentacle slime. And that has been brought over to the Fight Arena sandbox mostly. But I'm seeing that I have lost some features in the transition. So I want to see if I can get some of those back, like the fact that the slime is supposed to be sitting on some sort of a platform. So if I can get that platform back, that would be very helpful. And one thing is that the sandbox, I think it's the sandbox config, holds the frame rate, but it doesn't seem to hold the pixel size. So I still got to find that. And then we've got the grid width, height, and the tile size. So actually, the tile size and yeah, I still don't have a pixel size setting in here. So this is all part of the refinement that comes later in the process, right? I try not to stress about this too much at this phase of the development. But I want that platform. Oh, by the way, I can kind of mess with all the tentacles too. And so the rendered version looks like this, and I plan on having like it can attack across 2 tiles or something. So a regular slime, like a 0 tentacle slime, can only attack right adjacent. But if it has 1 tentacle, then it can attack across 2 tiles. I'll just make the tentacle like longer or create some way for it to move and stretch over. Okay, as anything, yeah, thanks for coming and watching for a bit. And yeah, thanks for the compliment. Yeah, I'll see you on probably your next stream too. All right. Actually, I'm probably going to be ending the stream any minute now too. I gotta get out of here. But I'm proud. I'm proud of what accomplishment I got just with this a little amount of time. Yeah. In fact, I am thinking that maybe I don't want to stir up the pot anymore on my current status of the code when I don't really have a whole lot of time left to tackle a whole nother idea. So I think I'm going to stop the stream here. Plan on coming on a little bit later today. So if you want to watch the progress, yep, see you as anything. If you want to watch the progress of how this battle arena evolves, then join me for the next one. Yep, I'm gonna call it good for the day. I'm gonna go get some exercise, get outside for a bit before it gets too late, and I will